Good morning to all of our viewers. This morning we touch on the whole armor of God. The whole armor of God. We must each day wear if we're to survive. Life's daily wear and tear. Good morning to all of our viewers. This morning. For
Right.
without God's strength, Satan we can't fight unless we lay hold of the power of his might. The whole armor of God we must each day put unless the devil's wiles we find ourselves drawn. For without God's protection, we fall for his trickery and over our lives. He will have the victory. The whole armor of God we must each day get into that Satan's fiery darts can't break or face through. For the world is evil and the days are perilous, making our adversary even more dangerous. The end.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm doing so much of things good. Okay, that was folks, young people, you all need to put on your cameras. I know you're a pretty good looking people, and I don't know why you're hiding. I leave that for Alison to do because Alison, she doesn't like the technology much, but you folks can put on your cameras. This morning I want to say that we are in a time where there's a lot of unease going on. And when I say a lot of unease, I mean a lot of unease. People are uncertain, especially after the election. And there's much talk about, wherever you go, there's talk about prophecy and prophecy and prophecy. But when people say prophecy, they do not tell you what they are talking about. I listened to a preacher yesterday saying, well, the Donald Trump election is prophecy, but I was waiting for him to explain, and he did not. And it is in the lips of everyone. This prophecy, yes, this prophecy being fulfilled, but what is this prophecy you are talking about? Now, I've been sending out this warning for more than a year now. I thought I was the only one talking about what is happening with right-wing governments and Christian nationalism and this wave of Christianity that is all over the world. You know, I heard a video. Thank you very much, Gabrielle. I heard a video of a guy saying that it's time that they give back the church. America need to give back. It's time the church, Christianity, once again take control. And I don't know if he knows what he's talking about. But that is prophecy. That idea that they have a union of church and state, that is prophecy. So when Donald Trump said, you know, you folk got to wait and it's time I give back the nation to the Christians and things like that. And Christians are roaring and clapping, applauding, and I don't think they understand what that means. I don't think they understand what is the whole idea? Why all this talk of fascism? Why all this talk of Christian control? And why all this talk about attack on LGBTQ? And why all this talk about Christian, it's time Christian take, why this talk is happening? And this morning I am trying, I'm trying by the help of God to help us to understand what is really happening. Don't just say it's prophecy and without saying how it's prophecy, why it's prophecy. Point to the Bible to show that it is prophecy. I'm going to try this morning to see how far we can get with that. And I brought on some young people. I don't know why they are hiding. I see Gabrielle, I've shown her. Is there a problem with videos? Is there a problem with Jonathon, you having a problem with your video?
Well, good morning, viewers. No, it's just still early morning, please, past time.
That is all right. That is all right. That is all right. Don't care what you do, it will stay just like that. So so come on. Don't let the ladies be braver than you are. The ladies are one, man. You acting very much as Alison. Come on, man. Okay. So this morning I give it open now. We'll begin the program, and young people, you can ask questions, and we can begin this whole thing. Anybody want to start me off?
Yes, Pastor. Well, I mean, just now you kind of gave an introduction, and I think what is coming to my mind is the question of you mentioned a particular word, and I just need clarity. I think this is the first time I'm encountering this word, and I just need to know what exactly is fascism? What is that concept? Could you break that down for me so I can understand in detail?
Yeah, it's one of the things that it is something that started a long time ago, but it is more a far right authoritarian political ideologies that characterize dictatorial power and forcible suppression of opposition voices and strong regimentation of society and the economy. It is something that we have seen with Mussolini and Stalin and them back, but it is rising its head within the Christian. It is a fascist regime typically led by a single leader or a small group of leaders who wield absolute power. And when we come later, I will define that further. It is a sort of nationalism when national identity becomes very important. And that's why Hitler decided to kill out all those Jews. It involved belief in one's nation is superior to others. And you hear it a lot in American jargon. It is a militarization of the state, where the military becomes more important than anything else, like in Russia, like in China, like in North Korea. It is this active suppression of dissent. Government suppress political opposition and control the media to maintain their social power. All that falls into fascism, sorry. It also deals with the whole idea of economic control, where the economies will of everything that happens in the state, the government want to control it. The government determines what is best for the people without the people's voice. And if the people oppose and say this is not best for us, it will create real chaos for that person or that person's family. Now, this emerged out of the 20th century. And as I said before, Mussolini in Italy and Adolf Hitler in Germany. These are regimes of people who are central sort of position that in the state, they are seen in a very pivotal way to everything that happens. And they are usually far right. They are usually far right. And because they are far right, they join people together under that umbrella of Christianity. I see how Hitler talk about the Aryan race and about that. It joins like that. These dictators I'm speaking about are religious people, you know. Putin, religious person, you know, in his own religion, you know. So too was Mussolini and Hitler and Kim Jong-un and Ruban and all these guys. They are military. I hope I give you an understanding of what we are talking about.
Yes, very thorough. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other question that you folks have? I'm trying to set up my phone to see.
So, Pastor, you were speaking a lot about this far right movement, a lot about it. But what exactly is this far right movement that you are talking about?
All right.
You speak about it a lot.
Yeah, good question. And folks who are listening to me, when these young people ask the question, you pay attention to my answers also, because it will help you to understand when I come to the prophecy a little clearer. A far-right movement encompasses a range of ideologies that are typically marked by radical conservatism, authoritarianism, ultranationalism, and nativism. Now, these movements often oppose liberal democratic norms and emphasize exclusive views, promoting the idea of homogeneous national or ethnic community. Historically, far-right ideologies have included fascism and Nazism, while contemporary manifestation can incorporate neo-fascism, neo-Nazism, white supremacy, and other movements characterized by chauvinistic and xenophobia. This is a movement that you'll hear more about as we get to the end, and you will see it more rising all over the place. Far-right movement often target perceived threats to their idealized community, whether ethnic, religious, or cultural, leading to anti-immigration sentiment, because immigration is bringing a different culture, a different viewpoint, a different way of life, but same as culture. And because of that, far-right movement attack immigration. This is what led to Brexit in England, which because they find that while England was part of the European Union, the rights of immigrants were recognized, and they find that too many immigrants were coming into England. But if you look at it, when Putin invaded Ukraine and Ukrainians head off to Britain, they did not object. They do not object to people coming from Scandinavian countries. They object to people who are black and brown. And the whole far-right movement, the fight against it, is they present themselves as if they are fighting against liberalism, you know, prostitution, drug addiction, homosexuality, abortion. They present themselves as fighting against that. When you look deep into the whole issue of the religious right, you recognize fascism plays a great part. The whole idea I give you of fascism, that plays a great part. That trying to deny people freedom of choice and freedom to do things under the guise that they are saying that this is not right. We want you to think the way we are thinking. We want you to operate the way we are operating. We want you to be like us. And to those unsuspecting Christians, it may seem a good thing. What could be so bad about a group who's saying that Jesus Christ is God? What could be so bad about a group who say we're going to promote the doctrine of Jesus Christ and the reading of the Bible? What can be so bad about it? But as we study this morning, it is the tenets of fascism. And these fascist folks are heading us down the way to the prophecy that I will speak about this morning.
Thank you, Pastor.
Pastor, so I have a question. Seeing that the newly elect president of the United States is Donald Trump, and he is seen as promoting all these things that he would have spoken about. Is he a fascist?
Well, you answer your question by saying he is saying all these things I'm talking about. Trump's rhetoric and some of his policies have resonated with elements of Christian nationalism, especially his agenda to conservative religious values. And this rhetoric about making America great again, his themes often involve nostalgia for a perceived past order, which can align with authoritarian tendencies. When he said, make America great again, when was America great? So when he said that, you got to ask about what a period he's looking at. When he said, make it great again, and he began to frame these Christian ideologies, he began to frame it. You recognize he's speaking about the time when black had to sit at the back of the bus, and Latino was considered less than people. He's speaking about the time when white was right. He's speaking about the time. And how do I know that? The rhetoric that he said is fascist rhetoric. The whole idea about they are eating dogs and they are eating cats. It's saying that these are less of a people. These are less of a people. You will not say a white American doing that. So it is there. When a guy could get up in a forum, one of the rallies, and say that there's a island of garbage just floating, and that island is Puerto Rico. All that rhetoric is fascist rhetoric. All that rhetoric about we are a Christian nation and all of that. All that rhetoric, that whole MAGA movement is fascist in their thinking. Some of them may not know it. They may not even know what fascism is. So they may be doing things based on following the crowd, follow the leader. They must be going through that process. But that doesn't stop you from saying that process is dangerous. And we are going to see a wild time, We are about to see a real wild time, next 2 years or so, because by this midterm, they will lose most of the seat because the people will see a wild time going on. But there's a link that is going on that I've been speaking about for the last 7 or 8 months on this program. There's a link, it's a right-wing movement that is ushering in Bible prophecy. And because of that, you see Trump won by a landslide. The aspect of populist and nationalist approach has echoed in fascist themes. It's a controversial topic, but it is, if you take the tenets of fascism and you examine what is being said by Donald Trump and his cronies, you recognize something. You recognize something. You recognize something. Okay, next question. I hope I answered that properly.
Pastor, you alluded to Donald Trump and his ideologies and, him promoting that he's this religious man and stuff. And there may be a hidden agenda. My question to that would be, why do so many people associate Donald Trump with fascism? Why do they make that link?
Because many people associate Donald Trump with fascism due to his authoritarian rhetoric, his nationalist approach and themes that saying "Make America Great Again," and the action that some perceive as undermining democratic reform. Critics point to his use of divisive language, his attack on the media, and his efforts to consolidate power as reminiscence of fascist leaders. Additionally, his emphasis on strong leadership and law and order, along with populist appeal, has drawn comparison to historical fascist movement. What caused people to be drawn to him is because 53% of white men voted for Donald Trump. 58% of white people voted for him. Deep within the idea of most people, we have our beliefs, we have our feelings, but it is kept unless someone with power champion what we are saying, we will not come out openly and say anything. As if I feel, and quote unquote, African people eat dogs. I could feel that, but I will not say that because I'll feel that it is anathema. But if someone comes to power who is powerful and begin saying that, those things that were deep within me will come out. And I'll begin saying that also. What you are seeing is that although the civil rights movements have marched through the streets of Alabama and New York and California, and blacks and women got adult suffrage and things like that, do not think that feeling that had caused men to have to march for that freedom, that feeling went away. It didn't. There are people who are racist, but you will not know. They will treat you as a god, and they don't like you simply because of your race. These things happen. But if these people are empowered for the base belief, they will come out. And that's what we are seeing. That's what we are seeing here. You see, what you believe and what you think, it stays until there's something that totally eradicated from your being. And sometimes we are just behaving in a certain way because of the environment we are in. And we know that if we behave contrary to the environment, there can be consequences. So once we know that there are consequences, we tend to behave. But once we recognize that the person in charge has no problem with our innermost self, it will come out. And that is what we are witnessing today. people speaking out. The only people who voted the majority, well, only 2 people voted in the majority. No, I'm lying. I was kind of figures last night. Only 3 people voted in the majority against Donald Trump. And that was blacks, 85%. But yeah, Latino, 53%. After he said that they were eating, they were garbage, and after all that was said about them, 53% only voted against him. And Asian, you would think there was a woman, Asian, the Douglas woman running. Those Asian would have climbed over themselves to vote for her. No, it didn't happen. 52% of the Asians voted for Kamala Harris. It shows that people belief, that subtle belief, climbs over everything. And how they saw things. And he's a champion against those things. You are seeing it coming out. They are Christians. They are Seventh-day Adventist pastors who sees nothing wrong or dangerous or scary. Because deep in them, there's a belief also. And what you are witnessing is that belief that is joined on to this whole Christian nationalism business and is creating the havoc that you are seeing. The question from you?
Not a question, but just sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make a point. Just thinking about all that you were seeing and how dangerous it is. But it's funny that when you look at the other side, the other choice that they had to vote for, in Kamala Harris, she wasn't that better in, what she was supporting in terms of the openness to the LGBTQ plus community and breaking that down. And then when you look at the other choice of Donald Trump, yes, you may think he will for the Christians, but as you were saying, if you look deeper into what he believes and to his rhetoric, "Make America Great Again," you know it is a very funny situation that Adventists and Christians found themselves in, who was
No, it's not.
following policy.
Jonathon, it's not funny, As I said, the base beliefs is what people are coming out. There is nothing wrong with choice. And I will come to that. There's nothing wrong with I promoting a man's choice. In fact, that's what God wants. He wants us to be free to do anything, whether it's wrong or not. The work is not for the man who is making the wrong choice. The work is for the Christian. The work is for you and I, and Akeela and Gabrielle, for us to tell more people about the man Jesus Christ, not to force them. You see, today is LGBTQ. Tomorrow is you and your Sabbath. You see, God has given us that choice even to promote wrong things. We have that choice. And until we come to the place to recognize that man has freedom of choice, unalienated freedom of choice, given by God, not by our next man, not by Rowie or Trump or Obama, by God. So when a man exercises free choice, he's doing it based on what God has given to do. And if that choice, God feels that choice is too dangerous to the society or somewhere, God will intervene, but man has choice. And once you begin to go against choice, you immediately going back to the Inquisition on the Catholic Church, when men were killed simply for exercising their choice. We cannot, we should not, we should never promote such a situation where a man's choice become anathema, that we're going to force him not to make that choice. No, we got to lecture to him. We got to go into all the world and preach the gospel. We got to touch hearts that men will turn from what they are doing. It must never be done by force. And that's the heart of what Christian nationalism is about. And that's the heart of what fascism is about. We have choice. You see, once you begin to decide which choice and who choice and choice, they will come to you too. And they will say, well, you know something? E.G. White said that they will see us at the end of the day as the one who are creating the problem with this Sabbath. When they begin to direct us to Sunday worship. And at that time, they'll be Christians now. They'll not be atheists doing this. At that time, you will sing a pretty different song, Jonathon. A pretty different song. I am something that know that this Christian nationalism thing is crazy, and we have the freedom of choice. And not only freedom of choosing, we have the freedom to promote wrong choices too. We have that freedom from God. And that freedom is not curbed by force. That freedom ought to be curbed by the gospel of Jesus Christ touching and changing hearts. That's what he gave us to do. Not to side with them to lock up people and overthrow this and no, the inside. No. That is not what he called us to do. Next question.
Pastor, so you touched on it a little bit, but could you go into more depth on what is Christian nationalism?
All right. Christian nationalism is a political ideology that intertwines Christian faith with national identity. It advocates for a society where Christian values and beliefs are dominant in the public life and governance. So immediately you recognize I'm talking about church and state. I hope you recognize that immediately. That's what it's all about. Let's go on with this. But Christian values and beliefs should be dominant in public life and governance. This ideology often emphasizes the idea that the nation should be defined by Christianity and that the government should take active steps to maintain this ideology. So it is a belief that this place, Trinidad, should become a Christian place. And anything that is not Christian, we got to knock it out. We got to stop Muslims from coming to Trinidad, as Donald Trump had said, stop them from coming to America. We got to make it harder. It is an idea that Christianity should govern the place. Christians actually believe that their view of Christianity is integral to their country's identity and seek to promote or enforce the religious position within the nation. This can include policies like displaying Christian symbols in public property. There was a guy somewhere in Oklahoma had put a Ten Commandments statue on the grounds of the court. And Christian would say, yeah, power to him. Would they have liked him to someone to put up a home next door? Or the sun and the star next door? Or some Buddhist in figurine? Would they have liked him to put some devil worshiper thing like that? The answer is no. And the reason why the answer is no, because they see Christianity as the dominant force that should dominate everybody else. Which text in the Bible tell you that? The Christian symbols and public property, they're dedicating the whole thing to Christianity. I remember I was in Toronto many years ago, and I saw in the newspaper, Temple of Satan. And I said, well, I must go see this Temple of Satan. So I got in a cab and I told the guy where I was going. But while he drove, I see he was constantly just looking back at me in the rear view, looking back at me in the rear view. So I'm not bothering my mind. I want to go to see what this Temple of Satan is all about. And then when I got there, he didn't stop in front of the place. He stopped a little way off. And then he said, it's that building there. And when I came, I saw him looking at me. Like, who is this guy? And I walked to the Temple of Satan. And the gate was open. Oh, yes, inviting. The building was a sort of dark purple, but the gates were open. And as I began to walk, I saw all these gargoyles on the posts and things like that. And then when I got close to the door, I'm hearing this music, this solemn sort of music. I if someone is mourning, this solemn sort of music. And I heard the voice clearly as I'm speaking to you this morning. Terrence, what are you doing here? I heard it clearly as I'm talking to you. I heard the voice of Terrence, what are you doing here? So I turned back, and when I got out of that place, I felt all my paws raising, like if something has taken control of me. And I remember Ellen White saying that do not go on enchanted grounds. Do not go on find yourself on enchanted grounds. And I'm saying that for all those who last month have gone down Chaguanas and say you're going to, I'm saying that to you folks. Do not step on enchanted grounds. You understand? So when we speak about Christian nationalism, we speak of all those things. Their behavior towards immigrants, their behavior towards Muslims and Sikhs and people who are not Christians. And don't ever forget, it will come a time when you and what you practice in Gabrielle, what you practice in Akeela, what you practice in Jonathon, that will be as different to them as the LGBTQ and all those things. Those things will come different to them also. And then they will come at you. And the Bible says they will persecute you for the cause of Jesus. They will come at you eventually. The stage is being set just for that. We continue the question.
Well, Pastor, you are very brave to be going to that temple firstly.
No. I was inquisitive and stupid. But
I mean, Pastor, also, I mean, before Jonathon goes, right, you mentioned something, what Sister White would have spoken to, well, alluded to, not going on uncharted ground or uncharted territory. I hear people often saying as well, if even I make my bed in hell, even though that scripture, he's there with me. I just need you to give me like a minute on that.
Yeah.
And then we can go.
Yeah. He is there with you in the brothel, in the whorehouse. He's there with you in the carnival band. He's there with you when you whine into the ground. He's there with you all the time. He's there with you all the time. But when will he function? And forget he's a God of choice too. The only time that functional being will come and snatch you and grab you is when you are giving yourself to him, when you are making that choice for him. But he was there with you on the in the whining hall. But he's hoping that somewhere there you will say, no, as the prodigal son, I got to turn and return to my father. And that's when his presence is activated in your life. But if you dare, you whine and go, hand in the air, riding on a bumper, as they say, running up the grace, having a ball, he's there. There's nothing that he doesn't see. He's there. But his presence is there for you. He's still calling you, but he will not intervene unless you choose. He's a God of choice. He's not a dictator. He's not a fascist. He's a God that allows you to choose. And once you choose, once you bend slightly towards him, he grabs you. He pulls you. He runs with you. But you have to first make that choice. I answer you if you want me to go on longer.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
So
don't go on enchanted ground. Do not tempt the devil. Do not tempt the devil. If you had been a alcoholic or a drug addict and you got off that drug addiction, should you still go and lie in the den when them fellas smoking the drugs? No, you don't do that. You don't do that. So you stay away. I remember I was working in Bugmaratres. I was the assistant pastor, and this guy always came and cleaned the churchyard and clean everything. And one day I told the deacon, let's give him some money because he's working for free. And I called the guy. The deacon gave me $200 to give the guy. And I called the guy, and when I handed him the money, he did not want to take the money. He said, Pastor, that money reminded me that when I was on drugs. He said, once I get that money, I'll run and buy the drug. He said, buy a pants for me, a shirt for me, buy some food for me. But don't give me that money. Because he recognized all the God is with him. He got baptized. I baptized him and all of that. But he recognized there was a consequence, for him having that money in his hands. And what happened? Some old girlfriend he had came one day up by him. The boy nice, the boy coming to church, the boy singing, the boy looking good. and she take him down Sawa, and he never came back. Next time I saw him was rummaging through the bin in Sawa again. We got to stay away from enchantments. Don't say you're brave enough to go where people put up their statue and all kind of thing and play in the funny music and well, I can go in scout here. E.G. White say, who I believe more than Keith Roway. E.G. White say, do not find yourself on enchanted grounds. And I am comfortable with that. So don't invite me to go anywhere and tell me scout here. Once the ground is enchanted, count me out. Cross me off the list. Go ahead, folks. Go ahead. Sorry for talking so much.
No problem. It was very well needed. But going back to the questions at hand, you were talking about the Christian nationalism and nationalist. And listening to that, I realized that they were so preoccupied with immigration. They were so much taught about it. They are so focused about it. So why are Christian nationalists so preoccupied with immigration, Pastor?
You see, they envision a nation that aligns with specific religious beliefs or cultural values. The coming of immigrants, they are coming with their own sort of values that is inimical to what the Christian nationalists see as the value for the nation to prosper. So you find the focus on immigration policies. They believe will preserve their values. Many Christian nationalists view immigration, especially non-Christian countries, as a threat to their cultural and religious identity. This perspective can tie to a desire to maintain a certain demographic and cultural makeup of the nation. You see, it runs on two fronts. It runs on the religious front, it runs on the racial front also. Because people of a certain race in America, just as in Trinidad, are aligned to a certain religious viewpoint. I'll be playing my language now. White folks are aligned with Christianity more than anything else. You hardly find white folks in Jainism, in Islam, in Buddhism. You hardly find that. So immediately they are carrying the color and then they are carrying the religion. Some of them have never went to church since they were christened or they say baptized, but still they see themselves as Christian and they are pumping for a Christian value system. The immigration is a threat to that. Immigration coming from Haiti and the Caribbean and some part of Central America, that immigration, it put paid to the idea of Christian nationalism. Now, Christian nationalism is not so much Catholicism, although Catholicism aligns with it in certain ways, but it's not so much Catholicism. It's more evangelicals, it's more these Pentecostalism, it is more these white Presbyterians. It is more a Christian sect who used to be a Protestant. So it's a combo of culture and political factors. They often push for immigration policy that align with their vision. So anybody speaking about keeping out immigrants will find a friend with the Christian nationalists. Because in the bag that comes with immigration, there's all kind of thing in that bag. All kind of, there's good fruit, there's bad fruit, there's sour lemons. So as far as they're concerned, better be leave that bag alone. And then they say something, come in the legal way. Because they know that these poor people could hardly able to come in the legal way because they have the immigration who will stop them. So when they say, we're not against immigration, we just want them to come in the legal way. You see, now I'm not against black people, but the curry here that they have is my problem. It's saying something like that. So that's why they are bent on stopping immigration. That's what caused Brexit. That's why the Olaf in Germany, that's why he's struggling right now with a Christian right opposition that is gaining every day. Because the Germans are allowing too many immigrants, brown people and black people from Africa and the Middle East. So they are fighting him. That's why in France, you have that rise of that far right, Le Pen, and they are making such a move. That's why Macron lost the majority and they gain it, because they are appealing to the baser instinct of man, which is race. They are appealing to that. Yes. You can go ahead. You're almost out of time.
You know, it's funny how we can use people for the foundation and then throw them out when we're ready to build the structure. But
Yes.
My question to that would be, right? Is there a difference between Christian nationalism and Christianity? Is there a distinction we can make with that?
Yes, there's a significant difference between Christianity and Christian nationalism. The only problem we are having is that the Christians are being drawn into Christian nationalism. Christianity is a religion based on the life and teachings of Jesus Christ. It emphasizes faith, love, forgiveness, and the belief in one God. Christians follow the Bible as their holy scripture and aim to live according to its teaching. Christian nationalism, however, on the other hand, is a political ideology that merges Christian identity with national identity. It advocates for the idea that the nation should be defined as Christians, and the values should all be Christian value, and that government should actively promote and enforce these values. See what I'm using, force. They often include policies that favor Christians and Christian symbols in public life, and can sometimes lead to exclusionary attitudes towards those of other faiths. That's not the Christian. The Christian was called to go win them. Christian nationality, say, ostracize them and get them out of our country. In essence, while Christianity is a faith and way of life, Christian nationalism is a political movement that seeks to intertwine that faith and national governance and identity. It is different. Yes, anybody else?
So are there any correlations with Christian nationalism and racism?
Yes, there's a notable correlation between Christian nationalism and racism. Studies have shown that Christian nationalism often intersect with identity and exclusionary attitudes towards racial minorities. This ideology can reinforce racial hierarchies and the support of policies that marginalize non-white groups. Is a complex, and I researched this one last night. Yeah? I pulled that together last night to see what is the relationship. Why are they so racist? And it's because that is part of the whole thing, having a national identity. Having an identity. Everywhere I turn, I should see someone who looks just like me. And that's the whole idea of it. Okay. See, we got 8 minutes more. We won't be able to take any call this morning, but we can, if your consent, we can be here next week, because see, I will not get into prophecy at all. So we can be here next week where we can go directly into the prophecy alone, if your consent. We will talk after. All right. But you can do directly. I know where you have much more questions about this thing, and we could tear the prophecy apart in a way folks will see what I'm talking about clearly. Go ahead.
So, Pastor, going into the Christian nationalism and all of that, and seeing who won, how do you view this, the election of President-elect Donald Trump?
Okay. Worrying, complex, and stunning, to the point that I think this is the will of God in shaping something. In that context, I view it as end-time prophecy. And I'll tell you why. This had to meet me as nothing more than end-time prophecy. I'll tell you why. If you examine the campaign of both individuals, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, their profiles are stark differences. Here's a highly accomplished woman, educated, family-oriented, and free of any real scandal, and also has a pastor. She referred to her pastor. So here is a woman who you can say might not be the Christian like you are, but here is a woman that you can say is normal. But here's a man who the courts have ruled against for racism, for rape, for fraud, and convicted. Now on his third wife, was consorting with a porn star while his wife was giving birth at the hospital, had a fraudulent university and charity foundation, and don't know one single Bible verse, or don't have a pastor for that matter. With this profile, he couldn't get a job at Walmart, at Costco. He couldn't even get a visa to enter America if he wasn't an American he was seeking to enter. Their campaign was so different. Also, hers was one of freedom of choice. And I want to say it again, freedom of choice is the will of God. I want to tell all Christians who listen to me this morning. Freedom of choice is the will of God. That is God's will. Freedom of choice is the will of God. She came with a package of goodies from reduced taxation to expanding healthcare to assistance in home ownership and outreach to minorities and their community. His was full of name calling, threats, venom, people who were called garbage. Opponents were promised retribution, and minority groups were vilified. Yet he won. He won by a landslide. Here, even among that group who were vilified, they voted larger for him, although he vilified them. So I sat back and I said, what could this be more than the hand of God? Because the wrapping up time is at hand. The President of the United States is an authoritarian. He's a climate denier. I mean, he's saying there's no climate change. Although the place is burning, although the place is being flooded, although all these things are happening, he said, no, not like climate change. He's a conspiracy theorist. Although millions of people died because of conspiracy theories the last time around, he's a conspiracy theorist. He's aligned with Christian nationalist white supremacists. He has an affinity for fascism authority figures as Putin and Xi and Obama and Kim Jong-un and the rest of them. What this can only spell to me when I look at this thing is this is the beginning of the birth pangs that the Lord spoke about. Because we can expect the US to pull out of the Paris Climate Accord. We can expect an escalation of storms and fires and floods and despair. That the world will experience more genocide as in Gaza, because very soon he will tell Netanyahu to continue killing these innocent people. We can expect a warm response to NATO that will cause Europe to become unstable. We are in the third trend of the prophecy of the end time. We are in the truth. I know you can ask question because we have 45 minutes to go, and then I will try to see how far I get through that. And if when we talk later in the week, we'll decide we'll come back and do it on. So go ahead, last question.
My last question would be, what are the main prophetic issues that you would see that will come about? All
right, Revelation, I'll try to skip this one quickly. So in case I do not get to the end in the next 3 minutes, folks will understand what I'm saying. Revelation 13:15 said, the second beast was given power to give birth to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refuse to worship to be killed. There are three things there. The second beast, as we had the time we studied, is America. The first beast is Rome. And the prophecy is saying that America will build an image to Rome. So we know that America, as the Bible said, is a ram-like beast. It speaks like a ram, but it operates as a dragon. It's a beast. So what will be the power it give? Power, image to be killed. It will cause folks to be killed. I want to read this as I said. As we know, the first beast is paper Rome. And the prophecy is saying that the second beast will be an image of the first beast. An image is a likeness. All that Rome did, just the way Rome did it, America will do it in the last days. It's an image, it's a likeness of the first beast. The first beast persecuted all who wanted to have what? Freedom of choice. That's why Rome persecuted. If you did not choose the papal power, you were killed. You had no freedom of choice. And I'm saying, What we are witnessing here now is again the freedom to exercise choice. And the Bible said this second beast, as we study America, the prophecy mentioned the issue of killing. And we can see in Christian nationalism and in the whole America system, the affinity with guns. What they're storing up all these high-powered rifles for? The Bible says they will cause those to be killed. Well, who do you think will do the killing? Governments? Secular governments, as the American? You think the American government, they want to kill you for being LGBTQ or for having abortion or into prostitution? No. No. The people are rallying against it now. It's not the governments. But what will happen is because they'll make up more of the government, them and the government will come together as one. But the killing will be done by Christian nationalists. They will kill you. It is because Christian nationalists, they are intolerant. And intolerance is now on the highway in the bosom of Seventh-day Adventists also. So they are bringing the world under one umbrella. And the umbrella is anti-abortion, anti-LGBTQ. But my God, and I'm saying this morning without any reservation, has given man to make choices, whether they are good ones, whether they are bad ones. He has given us that freedom to choose. He don't want us to be corralled into his kingdom. He wants us to choose to enter his kingdom. And what we are seeing today in Revelation 13, 16 and 17, and he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark of the name of the beast or the number of the name. This is worship the Bible is talking about. So those who will persecute and kill will be worshipers. Folks, this is so beautiful. We may have to, we'll talk off air because it's 10 o'clock and we have to return the studio to them. Alex, I thank you for giving an extra 30 seconds there. And may the good Lord be with you and your family. We will talk again next week, God willing. Until
Thank
then,
you very much, Pastor. Thank you for joining us today once more for Victorious Lifestyle as we change gears and get.
Good day, everybody. Bye-bye, everybody. We'll talk after.